China has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain.
Donald John Trump has said a lot of stupid shit. The month of May 2025 has been a particularly special time for the Donald's idiocy. The second 100 days of Trump Part 2 started off with a disturbing bang, when the toddler president spoke on the clear evidence of Kilmar Garcia's gang affiliation.
Terry.
He did not have the letter MS13.
It says MS13.
That was photoshopped. So let me
That was photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that.
I saw the picture.
And you think it was photoshopped?
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them.
He had MS, as clear as you can be.
They're talking about this image Trump posted on social media. It's a photo created by the Trump administration to bolster their case that Abrego Garcia is a member of the notorious gang. The faded tattoos on his knuckles show a marijuana plant, smiley face, crucifix, and skull. But MS13 was pretty obviously photoshopped.
The takeaway from this exchange? Does Trump legitimately believe that MS13 gang members tattoo themselves using Colibri font? Everyone knows that MS13 prefers Helvetica. As mind-numbing as that is, the large-brained chief executive would continue to display his acumen in discussing his commitment to due process and the Constitution.
I don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says
I don't know. It seems it might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials. We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers and some of the worst people on earth. Some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth. And I was elected to get them the hell out of here, and the courts are holding me from doing it.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know.
So, according to Trump, he is unsure if he has a duty to uphold the Constitution. If memory serves, this gentleman took the presidential oath of office twice.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
With this lapse in Donald's self-proclaimed excellent memory, the wannabe dictator commented on the state of the American economy, one which had been the literal envy of the world until his reinsertion into the White House.
When does it become the Trump economy?
It partially is right now, and I really mean this. I think the good parts are the Trump economy, and the bad parts are the Biden economy, because he's done a terrible job. He did a terrible job on everything.
Everything I do is good. Everything he did was bad. I am a nitwit.
You said some dolls are going to cost more. Isn't that an acknowledgement that some prices will go up?
I don't think a beautiful baby girl that's 11 years old needs to have 30 dolls. I think they can have 3 dolls or 4 dolls because what we were doing with China was just unbelievable. We had a trade deficit of hundreds of billions of dollars with China.
When you say they could have 3 dolls instead of 30 dolls, are you saying Americans could see empty store shelves?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they don't need to have 30 dolls. They can have 3. They don't need to have 250 pencils. They can have 5.
But you're basically saying there could be some supply shortages because of the tariffs. We don't have to waste
money on a trade deficit with China for things we don't need, for junk that we don't need.
Detailing his firm grip on the fundamentals of international trade, Trump has begun his war on spoiled baby girls across the nation. Targeting dolls and those rascally pencils, it's time for American children to tighten the belts. Suck it up, you spoiled bastards. We don't need no stinking 250 pencils.
In white papal robes, seated in an ornate chair, Donald Trump posted this fake image, AI generated. It was then shared on the official White House account. Earlier this week, the US president joked he'd like to be the next pope.
I'd like to be pope. That would be my #1 choice.
Trump is not Catholic, and leaders of the 1.4 billion strong church aren't amused. The former Italian PM responded by saying vergogna, which means shame. This is an image that offends believers, insults institutions. The leader of the global right enjoys being a clown. And from New York's Catholic bishops, there is nothing clever or funny about this image. We just buried our beloved Pope Francis. Do not mock us.
Proudly bearing the badge of champion of Christ, Trump has again played the great uniters by alienating Catholics everywhere. Devoted Catholic J.D. Vance staunchly does not give two shits. Commenting on the effect of his tariff war on the world, Trump had this to say.
We lost $5 to $6 billion a day with Biden. $5 to $6 billion. And I've got that down to a great number right now in a record time. You know, we're talking about 100 days. But just think of what that is. $5 billion a day we're losing on trade. And we were very tough with China, as you know. We put 145% tariff on. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. And we've essentially cut off trade relationships by putting that much of a tariff on. And that's okay. We've gone cold turkey. That means that we're not losing. You know, we lost $1 trillion to China. $1 trillion. That means we're not losing $1 trillion when we go cold turkey because we're not doing business with them right now.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
That's true. That isn't how anything works. We're at the point where Grandpa just likes to make shit up. During a recent press conference, Mr. Trump regaled us with unbelievable nuggets of wisdom. Starting with his new idea to place 100% tariffs on movies made outside the U.S.
Our film industry has been decimated by other countries taking them out, and also by incompetence, like in Los Angeles. The governor is a grossly incompetent man. He's just allowed it to be taken away from, you know, Hollywood. Hollywood doesn't do very much of that business. They have the nice sign and everything's good, but they don't do very much. A lot of it's been taken to other countries, and a big proportion. And I'm actually going to meet with some because, you know, there's some advantages, I guess, and I'm not looking to hurt the industry. I want to help the industry. But they're given financing by other countries. They're given a lot of things. And the industry was decimated. If you look at how little is done in this country now, you know, you think we were the ones. We used to do 100, not long ago, 100%. Now we do almost like very little. It's shocking.
Without an inkling of thought put into how film tariffs would be enforced, the self-styled king of America continues to throw out random ideas that he wants to make legally binding decrees. If this affects the next John Wick movie, America is gonna be pissed. Trump went on to discuss bringing back Alcatraz into the federal prison system. Clearly another strategically analyzed initiative. And not the result of a local Palm Beach TV station showing Escape from Alcatraz over the weekend.
Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz, the movies. But it's right now a museum, believe it or not. A lot of people go there. It housed the most violent criminals in the world, and nobody ever escaped. One person almost got there, but they, as you know the story, they found his clothing rather badly ripped up. And it was a lot of shark bites, a lot of problems. Nobody's ever escaped from Alcatraz, and just represented something strong having to do with law and order. We need law and order in this country, but it sort of represents something that's both horrible and beautiful and strong and miserable, weak. It's got a lot of qualities that are interesting, and I think they make a point.
And the world is wondering what that point is. Who they are. And what in the living holy hell did we just listen to? And in the midst of a self-inflicted economic disaster, what's a narcissistic leader to do? Throw yourself a military parade, North Korean style, of course.
The president also told me that next month he's planning a military parade celebrating the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army that also falls on his 79th birthday.
We're going to have a big, beautiful parade.
A military parade?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We're going to celebrate our military. We have the greatest military in the world.
What's the price tag? Do you
know? Peanuts compared to the value of doing it. We have the greatest missiles in the world. We have the greatest submarines in the world. We have the greatest army tanks in the world. We have the greatest weapons in the world. And we're going to celebrate it.
But hey, fuck you and your dolls, right? Estimates for this military day, aka birthday parade, would cost somewhere between $35 and $100 million. Totally worth it. So we've had some laughs reviewing the infinite stupidity of the actions and comments of Diaper Don. And in a sense, Trump's second term has achieved a lot. First, the lowest presidential rating ever for the first 100 days. A once thriving economy thrown into chaos by haphazard, moronic tariff policies. A world order shaken by Trump's capitulating America's status as leader of the global hierarchy. The American government being destroyed by fake cost-cutting measures that are little more than a ruse for preserving tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy. The list goes on. Now the crucial question lies in deciphering what's serious and what should be ignored. Most of the crap he says is comically ridiculous. But as we've learned with this painfully dangerous dipshit, he means what he says. Now, we've got to ask ourselves. How much damage is this cognitively diminished SVU assaulter going to inflict on America?
It's fine. Have to have a little fun, don't you?